Noodles and dumplings in general. All sorts of noodles and all sorts of dumplings. I was told once at a young age, if the Japanese and the Italians were doing the same thing on opposite ends of the world 1,000 years ago, it's probably a good thing. So all types of noodles, from ramen and lo mein to handmade Italian pastas. That and dumpling is me being cheap and just covering a wide range of things by saying dumpling, because ravioli counts, pierogi counts. I've had somebody ask me if a Pop-Tart counts, and I don't know how I feel about that. I feel that's more of a pastry. I'm sorry because we've already been talking about food, but every time anybody asks me if I have words of wisdom, just so y'all know, my first thing that I always say is, if you ever cook meat, you have to rest it for at least 10 to 15 minutes after you cook it, or you just destroyed that piece of meat and all the hard work, because all the juices are just going to run out and there's no point. This is life stuff. I could tell you about like changing your diaphragm to make better voices or something like that, but this is applicable today. Rest your meat. The question was, can I touch it? And it was given without context. And I said, what? And then they just kept looking at me and they're like, I really want to play with your beard. And they came up and I said, because you have just given me a story to answer in interviews when people ask me what's the weirdest question, you and you alone get to come up and do it. And she just came up and went, and because I had a huge beard at the time because I was filming something. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that one. I would have liked to. I don't direct anymore, but I actually got to use most of the people that I really wanted to at the time. But Steve Bloom's very nice. I'd love to work with him. It'd be great to work with someone like Billy West or Tom Kenny or some non-anime person that I would never bump into otherwise. Anything that is genuinely pro, like, violence against women, anything that's pro, like, discriminating or, like, sexist, racists, or, like, gender biased, like, mean stuff like mean crap, mean stuff that is like, no, this show hates, I don't know, white people with beards. Use myself. We hate white people with beards, and so all I do is sit around talking about screw white people with beards. Why? There's no point. Every once in a while, a villain. It's cool to be a villain who's just a total jerk, but if the show itself glorifies something that is harmful to other people, I don't want to be part of it.
First game I ever owned was NES. Was our first console, and it came with 2 games: Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt, the one that they both had, and Fantastic World Disney in the gold case. And that was how we started our game collection. Oh, and Rampage, 3 games. And it was a lot of fun. And one time I played Rampage all the way through, got to the very end, it took about 4 hours. The last screen, your winning screen, it just says congratulations, white text on a black background, and I was so crushed.
Oh,
Never
man.
played video games since. One character I like a lot is Roy from Fire Emblem. Mainly because I relate to him, because I played him for the longest out of all the characters that I'm voiced. I've been playing him since the Melee days, Super Smash Brothers. Recently finished his own game. I finally got the fan translation of that, so I was able to play it. And he's just such a brave boy, and I love him a lot. For Final Fantasy 2015 we did poison deaths, and one thing that what I tried to do, and kind of did, but it hurt a lot, was I aspirated water. I just tried to drink it and then literally choke myself on it. And they got it. It's what's in the game. It's me literally choking on water. So it sounded really freaking nasty. I have no idea. When I was in New Jersey, I was 3 years old when we moved to Arizona and then to Las Vegas, where I grew up. I consider Las Vegas more my hometown. And I really am proud of Las Vegas' public libraries. Spent a lot of time in them as a kid. The Sahara West Library and the Summerlin Library in particular. I think they're really cool. My sister lives here, so I've visited Seattle many times, and I really it's such a pat answer, but I love Pike Place Market. I think it's so cool. Every time I come here, I make sure to check it out. And last time I was here, it was for a wedding. We toured the San Juan Islands up there, and it's just gorgeous and really freeing, and the weather's actually pretty nice. I like it out here.
I like hanging out with my family, my wife, my 2-year-old, and mostly we just watch Moana over and over again because he's 2 and he has very few interests, but they're very passionate interests. So, yeah, no, I just like hanging out with the family. Yeah, I want to work with everybody. I don't know, I'm worked in dubbing and anime for a long time, and I've started working in video games. Yeah, I mean, some of my favorite actors in the world, Robert Downey Jr., Daniel Day-Lewis, yeah, I don't know. I have talent crushes on so many people. When people are really, really good at what they do, then I want to be a part of it too.
Who inspires?
My high school theater teacher, Miss Marilyn Miller, God rest her soul, she basically taught me that you can do anything that you want to do as long as you are unapologetic and focused and driven. And so, yeah, I've always wanted to be an actor. I just didn't know I could pull it off. And she basically taught me that if I made it my only focus, if I made it to where there was nothing I could fall back on, if I had to make it work, I would. And so far, it's working. Every time I really, really want a part, I spend as much time preparing for it as possible. And there have been very few roles that I really, 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 really wanted and really, really spent the time preparing for that I didn't get. Because, talent's a big part of it, but also hard work and dedication is another big part. So especially in theater roles, there have been a handful of parts that I was like, as soon as the season was announced for that theater, I was like, I want that one. And so I would spend weeks, if not months, like memorizing the script, like getting into character, finding the voice, finding the energy, the pacing, the breathing, all that kind of stuff. And 9 times out of 10, those roles I end up booking. But even if I'm not entirely right for it, I come in more prepared than everybody else.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know if it's inspirational, but it's with acting or voice acting or anything else in life. If you can't imagine yourself doing anything else, then don't do anything else, or at least don't do anything that takes you away from it. I've worked lots of non-theatrical gigs and stuff and non-entertainment industry jobs in my life, but it's always because they allowed me the flexibility to do what I wanted to do when I had time. So keep your focus. Don't just take anything that pops up. Make sure that you've got a goal in mind and that everything that you do, everything in your life centers around you reaching that goal.
Well, everywhere, especially if they have beer and food. So we just came from Elliot's Oyster House and had a bunch of delicious oysters and some good IPA beer, and did a little sightseeing. Went and saw the Jimi Hendrix statue up in Capitol Hill, I think it is, and then Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee's graves. That was kind of interesting. And actually, in doing that, we were walking around a lot and saw a lot of really cool things that I probably would not have gotten to see otherwise. So, we went down to Pike's Place today. That was fun, and we were gonna get some chowder, but the line was way too long, so we're gonna try again tomorrow. Well, I'm fond of a lot of them. I mean, all of them. I shouldn't say a lot of them. I'm fond of all of them. Some do have a lot more meaning to me. One of the roles that I'm, most fond about is a character named Kumatetsu in a movie called The Boy and the Beast by Mamoru Hosoda. And I play Kumatetsu the Beast. And it's just a beautiful movie, and it was fun to do. And I did a fair amount of research and when I was auditioning for the role, was really trying to find out a lot about anything I could about the character. And so that's one that's definitely near and dear to my heart. And, other ones I love are Undertaker from Black Butler and Lord Death from Soul Eater and various other ones. But Kumatetsu is hands down my favorite role to ever do. It generally depends, but most of the time it's either Lord Death or Undertaker. So I try to do both, and everyone gets all excited. And then every now and then I'll have some random, hey, can you do Gas Back from, what's the show? I put myself on the spot. But anyway, I can get, or Trigun, that's what it is. But I'll get these kind of random ones. Salvador from Borderlands 2 is another one. It's got my favorite line I've ever said in recording. So it's probably not appropriate for your show, so I won't say it. But,
Thank you.
it's very funny. So I took my family to see it. We went to the Alamo Drafthouse in Houston. It was one of the theaters that was playing it in the English version. Lucy Christian plays the boy, and in his younger stage. And she took her family, but apparently they went to the wrong theater and it was only in subtitles, so she wasn't even in that version. So, but I took my family out to see it, and we had a nice little crowd, and it was really cool. And everybody loved the movie at the end. I mean, everyone was applauding, and people were crying, and all that. But my 11-year-old daughter did me the most solid of any solid that could ever be done by anyone. As we're walking out of the theater, she's holding my hand, and she looks up as we're in this throng of people. And she goes, "Daddy, you are awesome as the Beast." And everyone just goes, "What? You are the Beast?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so everyone kind of became this big, suddenly an autograph session and all this, which was fine, but it was just so funny to when my daughter said that.
For those watching, do you have any words of wisdom for them?
Absolutely. Enjoy life, eat more crabs, drink more beer.
Thank you very much.
My favorite food. I always have to say pizza. But if that's really not what it is, it's just like that's my most intense craving. So, what is my favorite food? Breakfast food. I love breakfast food. Yeah. I would say Kobayashi from Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. my spirit animal.
Coming.
I love to go to the Pike Market and visit all the, the things that I cannot buy or take home with me because they're fresh produce. I love visiting that, and I love the shops and the foods there. And I'm going to the underground tour tonight, which is gonna be fun.
That's gonna be awesome. Take a jacket. It's very cold.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you.
Like do
Oprah
a-
Winfrey. Have a passion for acting in general, creating characters, and telling stories. Because the business is hard and you have to love it.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
My favorite food. That's difficult because I love all food. My usual go-tos are sushi, like nigiri, or Western barbecue, or Southern barbecue, should I say. In my field or just in general?
Just in general.
In general, I tend to look up to my my parents, my in-laws. They're great examples of people I want to follow in my life, role models. But also, I'm a really big fan of this guy named John Foreman. He's the lead singer of Switchfoot. He does a lot of humanitarian work, and he's also a very talented singer-songwriter. And he has a lot of positive messages to bring to his fan base, and I hope to do the same in some ways. My favorite pastime activity is music. I love toying around with sound, and I love playing instruments with my friends. That's the one I didn't really think about.
I can pause this for
sure.
you so we could forward.
For those wanting to get into this industry, I would say, any actor will tell you, go to where the work is, become an expert in your field, become an expert in acting. But for me, I found that the thing that helps me the most is to remember to center yourself, because this industry is one that it's easy to change. It's easy for this industry to shape you into someone that you may not necessarily want to be. And if you're not careful, you end up becoming something that's completely different than what you imagined or had planned. So it's important to center yourself. A lot of people want to put their identity in their work and hang it there and be like, I am my work. And I find that is very dangerous. So it's important to know who you are, be centered, stay true to who you are. That way, if anything were to happen to your career or anything like that, you still know who you are at your core. So, yeah.